Consciously Creating Circumstances, written by George W. Plummer in 1937. Narrated by Richard Schaefer.
Chapter 7. The Law of Attraction. Here, let us pause to survey more closely the means by which your thought form, correctly evolved and stamped on the universal mind, will become manifest in the facts of your life. We have already discussed the point, but it will be well here to study further and understand the great law of attraction on which depends the success of your thought forms. It is a law in physics that, unlike, attracts and likes repel, meaning, of course, polarities, the term used to express opposites. We are used to this expression in dealing with electricity and magnetism, but by careful observation we shall find that this law operates through nature's entire domain. Now note carefully how we make the law operative in accordance with our legitimate and reasonable desires as expressed in thought forms. Universal substance manifests the two polarities of matter and spirit, and as a corollary to that fact, formations in the invisible, mental, and spiritual worlds seek manifestation in the visible, material world. In this search for material expression, nature's forces generate and develop tremendous activity, and this activity is the cause of all action and reaction, urging and restraining, positive and negative in the cosmos. It produces the phenomenon we ordinarily call life. The principle holds true in regard to your thought form. First, you formulate and develop it on the inner invisible plane. Then, the invisible thought form, which is the positive polarity, seeks the negative polarity or material expression of itself. All that is visible in the mundane world about us is the expression of the activity of invisible archetypes in the inner worlds. If you have ever watched frost crystals form on a window pane during cold weather, you will have noticed how the lines of crystallization radiate in very definite directions, always in geometrically correct proportions of balance and symmetry. A fine illustration of nature's maintenance of equilibrium. Your thought form operates in exactly the same manner. In the case of the frost crystal, we see the lines of crystallization becoming visible, and these lines are called the lines of force, i.e., the direction taken by the operative force in crystallizing the moisture. Your thought form does the same thing. You cannot see it visibly in just the same way as you see the frost crystals, but you can see it by observing carefully the various incidents in your daily life, which will become apparent to you as indicating just how conditions are shaping themselves towards the ultimate realization of your desire. Little by little, you will note apparently insuperable obstacles being eliminated, providing you with greater scope and opportunity, with the way being made clearer for you to progress towards your goal. The frost crystals does not spring into visible manifestation instantly, neither will the realization of your thought form. The frost crystal is a manifestation wherein the constructive material is of the most attenuated character. Your thought form is complex, involving a vast array of constructive materials, and possibly also involving other individuals, and much time is necessarily required for the operative activities to bring all the elements together in visible realization. But the realization will surely come, if you are patient and persistent, and above all, conscientious. Lines of force will radiate out from your growing thought form, just as the tiny roots radiate out from the fast-growing plant or shrub. These roots radiate in ever-widening areas in search of nourishment, and That nourishment consists of material substances which they can assimilate. The length of time necessary for the thought form to come true will depend on its nature, whether it is simple or complex, whether it involves just you or others, whether the obstacles to be overcome are few or many. The two factors of thought forms and the law of attraction are the prime working tools of the mental scientist, and on them depend the amazing phenomena of metaphysics, psychology, and mental science. There is an interesting and true analogy between the workings of thought form and the growth of a plant, which will help you to understand this extremely important point of why thought forms come true. A tiny seed is planted in the ground. You plant it, let's say. Probably, if you are wise in such matters, you first clear away stones, weeds, and rubbish from your garden. You select the seed carefully, studying the different grades or brands offered to get you just the flower you want. After planting the seed, you see that it has the right conditions for growth, including moisture and freedom from disturbance. In the dark earth, the creative process of nature, which you cannot see, are bringing the seed along, and soon comes the day when it pokes its bright green shoot above the ground. Sunlight, moisture, air, and again, freedom from disturbance eventually bring the plant to full growth, and the beautiful flower spreads its fragrance for you and others to enjoy. Obviously, the seed is the thought form. You select it carefully, either the seed or thought form, to make sure it is the one that you want. You prepare the ground for your thought form by clearing away the stones of envy, the weeds of sloth and discontent, and the rubbish of belief in limitation. Obviously, the seed is the thought form. You select it carefully, either the seed or thought form, to make sure it is the one you want. You prepare the ground for your thought form by clearing away the stones of envy, the weeds of sloth and discontent, and the rubbish of belief in limitation. You stamp the thought form in the universal, plant the seed in the earth, carefully and earnestly. Then, just as you do not disturb the seed after planting, you do not disturb the thought form by doubting its power or by fussing with its details. And just as the invisible powers of nature cause the seed to sprout, so do the equally invisible powers of the universal cause your thought form to sprout. You cooperate with nature by providing moisture and possibly fertilizer for the invisible seed. Likewise, you cooperate with the universal by providing meditation and a calm, sure expectancy that the thought form will sprout. And inevitably, one day, the first tiny shoot of the thought form will become visible. That is, the first specific result of it will appear in your life. Glad day. From then on, if you continue to aid it with the life-giving waters of meditation and hearten it with the sunny expectation of its eventual completion, it will continue to grow. And sooner or later, it will stand forth in your life as an accomplished fact. And like the flower, it will gladden others as well as yourself. Really, are thought forms and their working out any more miraculous than the sprouting of a seed? They are both based on the law of attraction. We are used to the one, unused to the other. That's all. But think, how great was the amazement of the first man who planted a seed of wheat and later found it growing into a plant that would nourish him. In those days, it required real faith to take the trouble to plant, when no results were immediately apparent. And today, it requires the same faith to plant a thought form, at least until you know from experience that they do sprout. But this faith is just the one thing you must have, and we have seen the logical basis for it in this explanation of the law of attraction. This fundamental requirement, the individual's belief, is well summed up in the Master's words. Therefore, I say unto you, whatsoever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall receive them. Now surely it is difficult to believe that we have received something when our senses tell us to the contrary. Yet, this is absolutely necessary for the individual who seeks success through the use of thought forms. It certainly seems like putting the cart before the horse. Nevertheless, it is quite sound, and to the extent that we can bring our consciousness to an understanding and acceptance of this truth, will our results be successful or unsuccessful. We may resort to another illustration to clarify the point. When we take a photograph of a landscape, the momentary flash of light has imprinted the picture of the subject on the sensitive plate permanently. As long as that plate lasts, many positives or prints may be made from it. That is what the plate or film was made for. The landscape may change with the seasons or by the hand of man, but the print of it on the negative will be preserved as long as the owner of the camera desires to keep it. Likewise, when you impress or imprint your thought form on the sensitive universal mind, you have at once imprinted it on a medium that is eternal. It can never be destroyed. And since the universal mind is eternal, and your thought form therefore imperishable, it has begun to work instantly. With the infinite and eternal, to know and to act are one and the same. Therefore, what you have asked for has come into being at once, and you may logically believe that you have received it, although the realization of your reception of it will be delayed until it has been brought into the physical manifestation, when the time is ripe. This is shown us in the Scripture, where the Master prayed and then immediately thanked the Father, saying, I know that thou hast heard me. He thanked the Father before he visibly received the things for which he had asked. So we may interpolate our own words in the Master's injunction to make its meaning immediately obvious. What things soever ye desire when ye pray, or impress your thought form, believe that ye receive them in the invisible world immediately, and ye shall receive them in the visible world later on, through the law of attraction between invisible and visible.